Welcome, little one. This is your first day. Your designation will be RP-01/138. We expect great things from you. You have been born into dangerous times. A sharp mind can be the key to survival. But as often as not, it will be your inherent physical traits that win the day. And in this regard, you will be superior to your more common brethren. For you are a commando, an elite unit, something truly special. Your weapons, your armor, and most importantly, your brothers.
All right, men. Listen up.
Delta Squad, form up.
Forming up, boss.
Question. How do we call? He gave us a signal.
What up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham adversaries, my fellow Republic Commandos? It is your boy Trey of the Bat Channel, and we are live once again from the Batcave. We're in the galaxy far, far away. But as always, we have to bring in the best Sith sympathizer in all of the galaxy, Mr. Super Bro Corey.
I will do what I must.
You will. Okay, so before we can even begin with our show, Corey, tell the audience what you did this morning.
Oh yeah, it's great. Right before the show, I called Trey up. Early this morning, he was still working on his PowerPoint. I called Trey up, and I was like, Trey, I gotta tell you something. I was just watching some Star Wars, and I know we have the stream coming up, but wanted to let you know, without a doubt in my mind, Obi-Wan gave up too soon on Anakin. He immediately hung up on me. Immediately.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? No, I'm not. We're not having that discussion. We already spent 2.5 hours from our last Delta Squad stream discussing this, and it's done. The question is done.
Oh, it's not done. Just the beginning.
Zero Atlantis, what's up, Corey? As always, El Necron, my man, it's good. It's good to see you. I think we should just bring in our Delta Squad team today. The Savage Bat, unfortunately, couldn't make it today. He will be with us tomorrow for our watch party that we're going to do that we'll talk about in just a moment. But you guys know him as Mr. Orc and Beans. Let's bring him in.
Orc and Beans, baby.
Hello. Hello.
Hello there.
This is holding me down today.
Right. You were under the weather, but you got into some back to tank. You've been recuperating. How you feeling, big fella?
I took some time to find the force in myself, and I'm all good now. I'm good. I'm glad to be back. I really missed being here.
Yeah, I mean, we missed you too, because Super Bro Corey was just wrong the entire time. And
actually, El Necron said Corey was right.
El Necron tends to be wrong about a lot of things. I'm just kidding. El Necron be coming up with them fire YouTube videos. You check out his channel. Check out Zero Atlantis. He just released a Halo clip today that was he was going crazy. He's going nuts. The Sword Snipers guy, what's up? And boots. Trevor H, how's it going? Red Hooded Outlaw, Orchid Beans. See, everyone loves Mr. Orc and Beans in the house. Corey, are you ready to bring out our next special guest? I'm excited because you guys have seen him before, but he's known as my Flash aficionado, the man who knows everything about the fastest man alive. But today he's also geeky with the Force. So let's go ahead and bring in a Mr. FRESTO, ladies and gentlemen.
Where's his cool intro, Trey?
I don't have time to make FRESTO a cool one. So
okay.
Just give
here
him
he is, guys. Yeah, whatever. Here he is. Okay. Hello.
What's up? What's up, FRESTO? How's it been going, bud?
It's going pretty good. How about yourself?
Pretty dope. But what the hell? Are you in a speedster?
Oh, in an X-wing. I think it's an X-wing. I don't know. I looked up X-wing cockpit.
Looks like a T-84
and
almost.
It came from Squadrons.
That's freaking dope.
Squadrons photo that I found on Google.
Nice, man. FRESTO. That's some cool shit. So, guys, but before we begin, because I know it's FRESTO's first time being on the Delta Squad stream, first off, let's start with FRESTO. Tell us what you got going on right now, and then Orc and Beans. Tell us what you've been up to lately.
I was not prepared for this. I don't got a lot going on right now.
You still streaming? You still doing your
presently?
Much? Okay.
Recently wrapped up a series that I had going on for well over a year, about a year and a half, actually.
Okay.
So that finished, and now I just need to figure out where I'm going from here.
And you're also starting to do like video editing for people, right? Like you're doing, that's a business for you now. So if anyone needs, someone who can do video editing on the side, Orc and Beans, sorry, Orc and Beans, I'm slipping here because I'm pointing to you. FRESTO can do some of those video edits for you. So you can reach out to him. We put his YouTube channel in the description as long with Orc and Beans 14's Twitch account, so you guys can check them out. But yeah, you're starting. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, FRESTO, at all? Like some of your video edits and like how you what's the best way to get in touch with you about that?
I guess the best way to get in touch would be to message me on Twitter at FRESTOYT.
Okay.
And then we can just discuss from there. If you need something done, we can discuss rates, and I can show you I can lead you to my portfolio on my Twitter account. In the bio, there is a link to a portfolio of work I've done so far for others.
Nice, man.
Nice, dude. Very excited. And now my man, Orc and Beans. What's up, brother?
Well, I was going to start the grind this week, but then the sickness took over me. But starting next week, I'm starting my schedule. I'm starting an actual schedule that I'm going to keep to. So it's going to be streaming on Wednesdays, Saturdays after Delta Squad, and then Sunday mornings. And so it's something that I'm really going to focus on and really keep myself to, because streaming and hanging out with you guys brings me so much joy. And so just get myself to really do it and put myself out there is going to be awesome. So I'm really excited to start the grind.
I'm excited for that. That's gonna be awesome to see you on more regularly, so that way we can, I always enjoy. You have Corey and I were talking about this the other day, but you have such an iconic laugh. Like when you think about YouTubers and stuff like that, like they all have kind of like a shtick that is like, that's what you remember them by. Your laugh, man.
I like that.
It's so great. He also has a TikTok that you guys should check out as well, where he does some really funny shit.
Then you will die.
Oh man, Orc and Beans 14. He is just that's all I can really say about it. But guys, we also have a whole bunch of social media pages now. Cody, I'll tell you a little something later, but just to let you know, Discord has been in the works. I got it set up.
You need a Discord channel so bad.
I know. Not quite ready to like release the links for people because I'm trying to organize it and like make it like all clean and like put some of the guidelines and stuff. But we do have a Twitter page. We have Instagram. We have TikTok now because Orc and Beans 14, he's been pushing me. He's like, dude, get into the social media. Become a true.
How many subscribers do we have?
I'm not sure. What you mean for us, or
is that you on the feedback tray?
I don't know. Is it?
Nope, it's FRESTO.
Oh, okay. FRESTO's getting the feedback.
He's getting a little feedback.
Or
it's a 30 cycle hum, I guess, is as Dad would say.
Yeah, it's the 3 cycle hum. Oh dear. But I see we have a $5 super chat that we must address from a man, Red Hooded Outlaw, already coming in hot with that $5, saying hashtag Delta Squad forming up, boss. Corey, can we play my man, Red Hooded Outlaw, a little some?
Absolutely.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Always got to hit hello there with the first one. But man, we got so many people in the chat today, man.
Who do you got going on?
It's been wild already. Let me give you a little taste. We got Trevor H in the chat, Retro Nerd Girl, Zero Atlantis, Ryan Swayze, Bat Fanatic, L Necron. Necron said he wants to talk Star Wars with us one of these days. So we need to. Maybe even tomorrow a little bit. We'll see.
We'll have you on the watch party on Necron. If you're available, we'll have you on the watch party.
Hashtag restore the Snyderverse guy. Socks is on.
Nice.
Red Hooded Outlaw. Oracle's Clock Tower. Doing my best is here. What's up? That's Rachel, right?
Yes, right?
Yes.
It's
Red Hooded Outlaw. We got Sean Franklin.
What's up, Sean?
We got Vinkata Karthik. You know Rhea's in the house, and guess
Rhea.
what? That's not it with Rhea though. She's on fire today already.
She's on fire.
She asked a question.
When is Rhea not on fire? She's just smoking.
Yeah. Where's the Retro Nerd Girl said? What's Fresto's Twitter? We got Batman thoughts in the house. By
Fresto,
the way,
if you're on the YouTube chat, go ahead and put it in the comments so people can find you.
So I'll just copy the link.
Rhea, oh my God, coming in with that $10 super chat. Bat channel memberships when we are working on it. There's a few things I want to do to make it special for members. Like, you know how I am about people taking the time to help support our channel through, super chats and stuff like that. That it's really important to me that it's worth their while, so I do have a vision of what we're doing. There's just a few things that I want done before we get to that moment of memberships, but we will create a Patreon. We will create eventually YouTube memberships and stuff like that. I just want it, like, when we release all that and we go live on that stuff, I want it to be worth your while, so that's just kind of my theme with it now. But memberships, hell yeah, we'll definitely do that at some point. But Rhea, you're the best, guys. If you haven't subscribed to the lovely Rhea's channel, you need to. She's awesome. She's been kicking ass lately on Nintendo Switch. Just some fire streams. It's always a good time over at Rhea's, and she always does like other content, not just gaming. She talks about entertainment and pop culture stuff, and I think even like today's news every now and then. So definitely check out her channel. But thank you, Rhea, so much for that $10 super chat. Corey, can we give Rhea a little love?
Absolutely.
Credits will do fine.
No, they won't.
Credits will do fine.
No, they won't. What, you think you're some kind of Jedi waving your hand around like that?
Rhea is a Jedi. She is a Jedi.
Well,
We'd all fall for it.
And it makes you wonder, will credits be fine when memberships begin?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh my God. So Retro Nerd Girl, always good to see you as well. I swear, man, Corey, you got to remind me, we need to have Retro Nerd Girl on here as well sometime.
Absolutely. She's far as well.
Yeah, I love Retro Nerd Girl's channel so much. El Necron coming in. Man, you guys are just killing it with a $5 super chat. So like, we haven't even started the show really. We're just kind of hanging out with you at this moment in the morning, and you're just like, you're buttering us up, and now I'm kind of confused. Kind of like, what's going on today?
I think what they really want to know is, did Obi-Wan give up on Anakin to Sue?
See ya.
Oh man, Corey. Fresto had a
I'm so glad I wasn't on that stream.
Okay, you know what though? Maybe for El Necron's $5 super chat, because Orc and Beans wasn't here and Fresto wasn't here for that show, give us a quick summary. Was Corey full of shit that
Corey, he didn't give up too early?
He gave
what
up
else was he
so
supposed
early.
To do?
He gave up so early. So early. The dude's clearly crying. He's upset what he's done.
Except when did he give up on him? That's the question.
When he's like, they're going back and forth. To me, the Jedi are evil, and he's like, "Then you are my friend's truly gone."
Except my friend is truly gone didn't happen until the end of Kenobi, which was 5 years later.
He's thinking to him, normally Obi-Wan thinks things through and, gives a little time. He never gave time to Anakin. He didn't want Anakin around. It's all Obi-Wan's fault.
All right, Corey, we already heard your whole spiel on that. Fresto, do you have anything to say on it? Corey can't, we're not even going to give Corey the chance to.
Wait 1 second, Trey. Did Fresto watch that week's show?
No,
but he knows.
Then he doesn't get an opinion, Trey.
I don't get an opinion? I have opinions.
We let everyone speak here, Corey.
I have opinions.
Fresto, any opinions? Did Obi-Wan give up too early?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Did you just I saw the little your mic is muted pop up and I'm like, I see how it is.
Oh my God. Yep, there we go. Yep. See, go ahead and tell him how it is, Fresto. Tell them how it is. Now you kind of look like Mad Max. I know you don't know who that is, but you know.
Oh man, that's so funny.
You guys are
I
too
had
much.
to. I'm
So
sorry.
Corey, Kitty Play El Decron, a little love for his $5 super chat. He says, "I may not always be right, but I am never wrong." Well, I agree with that. You're entitled to your opinion. Sometimes it's just blatantly wrong, like Super Bro Corey.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Oh man. Well, guys, as always, it helps us out so much when you guys smash that like, you share this video, you subscribe to our channel, and you hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. I can't tell you how important it is to hit that notification bell, because you will miss people's shows. I realize all the time that, like, oh shit, like I missed Rhea's show. There you go. I hit the notification bell so I won't do that again. I missed, Zero Atlantis. Guess what? I got a notification this morning that his Halo show came on today, and I started watching it and was able to comment. Notification bells, they go a long way. But you know what else goes a long way, Corey?
What's that, Trey?
Super chats. Just like you guys have been doing already, buttering us up with those super chats. Thank you so much for that. Super chats go a huge way to helping out our channel by just, one, telling us that you're enjoying what we're doing, but it's also, the money goes right back into the show. Usually, if it doesn't go right back into the show, then it usually is going to like a fundraiser. We've raised like over $1,000 for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We've raised like $250 for Feeding America. So, I mean, that's all goes to you guys. So thank you so much for letting us be a part of that and making a difference in the world. We really do appreciate it. But for today, super chats are just going to go right back into the show with improving equipment, lighting, to renew our subscriptions to things like StreamYard and stuff like that. So super chats, thank you for those who have already done it today and those who are thinking about it. We really do appreciate that you guys enjoy us that much. It does mean a lot.
I tell you what, I'm looking at these some of these chats, and while I'm more than comfortable, Batdan, bringing in fighting 3-on-1 myself, but seeing what Batdan's saying with Jeremy Johns put it best when he said Obi-Wan went over there to kill Anakin, and then El Necron coming in with the Obi-Wan was too confident.
He didn't went over to kill Anakin. He went over to kill Vader.
Full of himself. I'm talking, Trey. Don't make me mute you. Maybe we need to have a return of the Sith again someday, and straight up battle the original crew. So maybe something.
You mean a round two of that whole discussion?
A round two.
No.
Do it.
No. Oh my God, you guys.
It could happen.
It could happen. It just requires that one time, Corey. One time.
One time. Yeah,
Zero Atlanta says, I was so flattered that you took the time to watch and comment. Much love, Trey. Hey man, that's what it's all about. Creating a community and supporting. I always say, like, YouTubers who get jealous or like don't appreciate like what other content creators are doing aren't gonna make it in this. Like, yes, it's okay to be competitive in mindset, but like I always have the idea that you're only gonna help yourself if you help others, or you're just a part of a group, and you help lift each other up. That's what it's all about, man. Corey Savage Motherfucking Bat. He says, hey guys, sorry I couldn't be around tonight. Got a friend's wedding anniversary. I'll see you tomorrow for the Obi-Wan Palpatine launch party. Savage Bat, it's always good to see you.
Which is a great transition, Trey, for
the watch party. Yes. So guys, if you're wondering, like, what the hell is Savage talking about? What watch party? So if you recall from our stream last weekend when we were talking about how Corey was wrong,
Corey was right.
Our good friend Zodwriter, who you've seen on our show multiple times, kept talking about this Patterson cut. Like, Trey, like, the Patterson cut's amazing. It's a masterpiece. It righted all the wrongs of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which if you watched all of our Obi-Wan Kenobi breakdowns, we actually really enjoyed the show. So to us, there wasn't a lot to fix. Now, is there some things I personally would have tweaked? Yeah, sure. But to me, it was still a damn good show. But this thing went viral. This whole Kai Patterson cut of Obi-Wan Kenobi. He turned the 6-episode show into a 2.5-hour movie. So tomorrow, Obi-Wan did give up on Anakin too soon. This is Trey. I said this correct. Yes,
I did check my watch.
See, this is the problem when Corey has access to my account, so that way he can write for me. Corey, you're cut off. You're cut off. Silence you. Jesus. But yes, we are going to do a watch party. We're gonna answer the question: was this Patterson cut truly better than the Obi-Wan Disney Plus show? Was it gonna be a better idea done through a movie? We're going to answer that. We're going to watch it together with you guys. Now, obviously, because of copyright reasons, we can't show it on YouTube. So we provided the link in the description, and I believe in our YouTube chat, Corey, if you can, for the Kai Patterson cut. I believe you have to like type in your email or a Facebook account to sign in, so that way he can traffic how many people are watching his thing. But we're going to watch it together. And then at the end of it, we're going to discuss real quick, like, was this better? Like, should Obi-Wan Kenobi have been a film? I don't know. We'll enjoy some popcorn and some soda, and we'll see. We'll just enjoy it for what it is, because we're Star Wars fans no matter what. And I appreciate that Kai Patterson, he really did some crazy editing on it too. So I can't imagine how long that probably took for him. But congrats, bro, on the success of all that. And we're curious to see it tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. The whole Delta squad will be there and a few special guests. So join us. Set your reminders now. It's already available. And speaking of setting your reminders, guys, I can't believe it, but it's been 2 years coming this Tuesday. And the best part is, if you don't know already, the Snyder Cut is being released digitally that day. So I like to think of it as a sign, a good sign that great things are here to come, for the Bat Channel for going into year 3. So thank you so much for being with us in all this time. But Tuesday, we're just going to have fun celebrating. We're going to have a ton of special guests. I can't tell you who they are yet, but it's just going to be fun. We're just going to be hanging out, maybe talk about some of the future plans of the Bat Channel.
Did Obi-Wan give up on Anakin too soon? Part 2. I'm late.
Corey, you're this close, buddy. You're this close to getting force choked. So join us for that Tuesday, July 19th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can set your reminders now. We have it available on YouTube to make sure you guys don't miss it. So that's going to be a damn good time. I'm excited for that. Okay, guys, are we ready to get into this whole discussion that has really piqued my interest and has made my brain constantly run with ideas and theories ever since? Well, first off, let's start with this. Have any of you played the official Star Wars Revenge of the Sith video game back in like 2005?
No.
Mm-hmm. I did.
You did. Corey, did you ever play the alternative ending though?
I did.
Okay. So guys, I think Orc and Beans and FRESTO, you guys both said that you haven't seen this alternative ending, correct?
I have not, no.
Yes.
That would be correct. I brought it. I made sure so everyone could watch it, because ever since this moment, I think I was 10 when it came out and when I played it. So to me, it's been many years of thinking about this moment. Batdan says he's played. Guys, if you haven't heard, Batdan's thoughts is creating his own YouTube channel. Batdan, if you haven't already, go ahead and put your link in the chat so everyone can find you. But also let people know in the chat when you have your first show coming up. I'm really excited to see Batdan. How long have we been saying, Corey, that Batdan has needed to create a YouTube channel?
Forever now.
Yeah, forever. Since the man first appeared.
You want to know why, Trey?
Why?
Because we didn't give up on Batdan that easily.
I need to add Darth Samuel Jackson clips to this so I can just shut you up from now on. Okay, so Corey, can you please go ahead and play the Revenge of the Sith alternate ending clip for people? Hopefully Disney doesn't get pissed off at us like they did last show, but here we go. Go ahead and play it, Corey.
Let's see. Which one is it? What
Revenge
did you
of the Sith alt ending.
Where did you put it?
Do you not see it?
No, I don't see it. Oh wait, there it is. You put it up on me a little bit. Okay, there it is. All right, here it goes.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
Don't try it! Your new weapon, Lord Vader.
No, the galaxy belongs to me.
Ooh.
First off, I gotta say, it's pretty funny that the clones just like go, "Oh shit! Well, we didn't we didn't plan that was gonna happen. Like, are we with you now?" You know. So guys, first time seeing that. Let's start with FRESTO. What's your first thoughts on that? And that's just to let everyone know, this is going to be our jumping off point. We're not going to create like any previous scenarios that happened before this moment. This is everything happened in Revenge of the Sith, except now Anakin has killed Obi-Wan Kenobi, and now he's also killed the Emperor. Let's start.
So I can't throw any other, questions or pieces into it, Trey?
No, Corey, because I know.
Did Anakin give up on Obi-Wan too early?
Yeah.
See, everyone give up on Obi-Wan?
Yes, I think Anakin gave up on Obi-Wan a little too early.
Yep, his mic's not going to be cut again.
Jesus. FRESTO, let's start with you. First time seeing that, what's your thoughts on that?
I felt like I feel like that would not have been that easy. I just felt like that was the whole like killing Obi-Wan. That's fair. I can see that changing some stuff, but just being like, you're dead now, to the Emperor just felt like they were trying to say, look, this happened when Anakin just killed Obi-Wan. Let's just have him kill the Emperor too. Just put it over there.
Well, I mean, they did kind of reference, right? Like when Anakin's talking to Padme in Revenge of the Sith, he does say to her, like, I'm stronger than the Chancellor. I can overthrow him. So, I mean, it did kind of suggest there was already thoughts in his mind of getting rid of him at some point.
Yeah. And I don't doubt that he could have at some point. I just felt like then and there was one too soon, because I disagree. I don't think he was more powerful than the Emperor.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
because he hadn't gone under any of the Sith training. The Sith training was going to make him more powerful, but he hadn't done any of it yet.
Oracle just got snoked. I like that, Oracle.
Well, I also love this one too. Red Hooded Outlaw said, I guess Obi-Wan did underestimate his powers.
That's pretty good. So Orc and Beans, first time seeing that, what's your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I thought it looked cool. I thought that would be an awesome ending to that movie. But I do have to kind of agree that like he probably wouldn't have killed the Emperor at that time because he still kind of needed him. But I think like a couple of weeks later, he probably would have killed him. But so I thought it was cool, but I think if it would have happened, he probably would have kept the Emperor alive for a little bit longer.
Okay. And Corey, it's been a while since you've seen that, which I did find out you can get the game on Xbox One right now.
Really?
Replay it. Yeah, I was considering it. I was like,
I
might have to do that. Yeah.
How much is it?
Corey, now seeing it after all these years and kind of seeing the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, what do you think about this alternate ending?
It definitely leads to more questions for me, for sure. Like, I wasn't going to go there, Trey. But what I was going to say was, okay, so he just stabbed Obi-Wan, right? It was just a stab, right? Like, what's up with Vader? Just Anakin just putting, the lightsaber through the stomach area and just
he wants to give him an opportunity, right? Like he's just like, hey, like if you're feeling up to it, maybe you can come back from this.
Pretty soon he's going to have Reva and a poked Obi coming after his ass. So, and same with the Emperor as well. He just poked him as well too, man. He really needs to get back to like just chopping heads off again. That's
chopping arms and then heads. It's always the arms first, right? Some limbs.
Yeah, exactly. No, I thought there's a lot of cool aspects to this when I first played the game, and then obviously seeing it again. brought back some great memories of watching or playing that game. But obviously, there's a lot of questions from this. Padme, what's going on with Padme? Is she still alive? The kid, what's the status of the kids? There's now it's his galaxy to rule, right? So what happens? So I think the question is, Trey, what if Anakin ruled the Empire?
Agreed. That is the question that we're going to be answering today. So let's start from this jumping off point, guys, because this, as I kind of said earlier, this was the moment of this video game that kind of like forever kind of like made me think, well, what would have Anakin's empire been like? The Jedi are pretty much wiped out. I mean, let's assume Emperor failed at killing Yoda, so Yoda's somewhere still out there. Obi-Wan is apparently dead at this point. But Padme is still on Mustafar. Let's start right there. Padme is left on Mustafar. Anakin survived and is able to get back to her with her ship. What happens here? Let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's start with FRESTO. Where do you think this begins with Anakin getting back to Padme, who's unconscious at this point?
So yes, Anakin gets back to Padme, and this brings up again the point of Anakin would not have killed the Emperor because he hasn't gone under any of the Sith training. He still needs him to teach. He still needs the Emperor to teach him how to save Padme because he still thinks Padme is destined to die and doesn't have the power to save her. So he picks up Padme, probably gets on that ship that the Emperor came off with all the clones, goes back to Coruscant, where he delivers her to a hospital to deliver the babies. Or baby, I think he doesn't know they're twins.
Yeah, at the moment they don't know there's twins yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Orc and Beans, how about you? Or FRESTO, did you have another thing to add?
Well, I was just gonna add. So they get back, and I think this goes one of two ways. Either she wakes up, finds out Obi-Wan is dead, Anakin's killed the Emperor, and is sort of taken over the Empire as the Galactic Emperor, and either loses the will to live right then and there, and by proxy, the babies never get born. Luke and Leia are never born and also die, or they manage to save Luke and Leia. But I still think no matter what, Padme dies.
Okay.
I think Padme dies in the end.
No matter what, you're like, Padme dies, but do the kids get born?
I think it could go either way.
Okay.
I want to say the kids get born because I'd rather not say they're all dead and then have nowhere to go for me. Everyone dies and then have nowhere to go.
How about you, Orc and Beans? Where do you think after Anakin kills the Emperor, where does it go from here with Padme?
So, well, I'm going based off of what we just watched. And for my interpretation of it, it looks like he's not going back for her. And for me, I feel like if he's just leaving her there, and he's getting on the Emperor's ship, and he's gonna take over and be the new Emperor, I give that dude less than a year before he loses it all. He is a really skilled, duelist. He's a great pilot. He's not a politician. All of his friends he just helped kill like 30 minutes ago. They're all gone. He's got no allies. He's got no friends. He doesn't know how to be a politician. He doesn't have these outside connections that the Emperor had, which allowed them to be where they were because of his connections throughout the entire galaxy. He knows nobody. So I give him about like 7 months before the Empire crumbles.
Wow.
When he loses it.
You're just saying his complete rule because he just can't function mentally. Just everything goes to shit.
He doesn't. There is more to ruling an empire than being just a really good warrior. And he doesn't have those skills.
Which kind of leads into what I was thinking. What if, I like what El Necron said. He's going to be ruthless. He was already ruthless. with impatience and ego, shit would have been brutal. But he needs somebody with political skills and mind, some persuasion techniques over the people. What if Padme joins him?
You think Padme would join him?
Oh, 100%. She was so like cool with everything.
Just because of the Tusken Raiders, she's like, "Oh, you killed a whole bunch of families." Like,
she's
I
so
love you.
Weird. She's such a weird character because when he's trying to like get with her, he is so creepy. He is a predator on her, and she's like, "It's okay." I think
he did give some
and
weird
then
sex
murders
eyes,
all of those Tusken Raiders, and she's like, "It's okay." She is so complicit with everything he does.
Yeah,
I'm with Corey. If he does go and gets her,
well, Alan Necron said real quick, he can't go with that. What I'm specifically saying is Anakin was still, he just killed Obi-Wan, he just killed the Emperor. He clearly has no allegiance at this point. So he's his own man. So if he gets Padme on the theme like, hey, we're going to rebuild this, the Jedi were wrong, the Sith were wrong, and the what they were trying to do, everything was wrong. We're going to hit the reset button, and this is what we're going to do. I think she may have been like, you know what, that makes kind of a good point, Anakin. Let's fix the galaxy.
Yeah.
And when she hears that, everybody wants to fix things. Now, does it go the way that you think it does? Maybe not. Maybe Tatooine's no longer a planet. Maybe it's instead of Alderaan, it's Tatooine. Boom.
Interesting. Or what were you going to say?
F them sand people.
I feel like it goes one or two ways. My first point was just if he does leave her. If he does go back and get her when she lives, I think she either does what Corey is saying, where she just goes along with his crazy ideas. Like, one small war crime here, one murder here. She starts to get okay with all this stuff if it's for the greater good. Or I think, especially with the kids, he kind of just they kind of just do a family life a little bit. Because, ultimately his goal at this point is to save Padme and have a family with her. And so I could see if the Emperor's gone, Obi-Wan's gone, then he's like, you know what, maybe I just do the dad life for a little while and trains his kids to be super crazy Jedi, and then maybe later on they take over the world.
Interesting. You guys are really... So first off, I think FRESTO was trying to get a word in, so I'm going to let FRESTO have a moment, and then I'll kind of jump in. But FRESTO, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, thinking back on it, I feel like it's weird how Anakin comes in after killing all the Tusken Raiders. He said, but not just the men, but the women and the children too. And then she falls in love with him and stuff. But then he goes and kills a few younglings, and all of a sudden he's a monster.
See?
Okay, well, hold on. In all fairness, the Tusken Raiders weren't really considered, I think, in terms of political and like standards of life, right? Like, if you think about it, it took Padme a while to allow the Gungans to get to a status that was considered equal to the Nabooans. So the Tusken Raiders were pretty much like savages, right? Like they're below human.
They're not people. So you're kind of saying that Padme is a little evil.
I think she's, in some cases, it's, you kind of go by the feeling of what's around. Like everyone on Tatooine doesn't look at the Tusken Raiders as people. They look at them as beast creatures, monsters that just kill and, pillage everything, That's how the Tusken Raiders are looked at. They're looked at as being the bad people, but as we learned in Book of Boba Fett, that's not exactly true. But you guys are really taking this in a direction that I'm really kind of shocked with. Like, I think who said it? Was it Zero Atlantis, where like Gorka B just kind of like closed the book? Like, that's it. That's, it's the end of the galaxy. He's
got 7 months. He really does. He's got 7 months. He loses all of his power, and that's it. Like,
personally, what I think happens, there is that theory, and I think I heard Retro Nerdgirl talking about it earlier. But there's the theory that Padme just dying because she lost the will to live wasn't exactly true. There's a theory that is the Emperor drained her life source to have her die on purpose to anger and empower Vader to the next level. And to have more control over him at that time, because let's be honest, if Padme was still alive and the Emperor was trying to control Vader, that wouldn't last too long between them. So it was very much part of his plan. So I'm very much in the belief that, yeah, the Emperor probably drained Padme's life power to have her die. So assuming that, you know, the Emperor's dead, she can no longer die. I think it starts off with Anakin saving her, or at least keeping her alive. And I think at first she's very reluctant to stay. I think she wants to I think it's like one of those like toxic, bad relationships. She doesn't want to be around him, but he's going to keep her there, you know, because his goal is to just keep her alive. And plus she has his children. So interesting that you guys got to that, with everything just falls apart.
I don't say they fall apart.
Yeah.
I'd say he uses Padme and they become this like dark couple together. Like
this dark couple. I don't see them
Not
becoming a dark
maybe,
couple
but
because
like, a power couple.
The way he gets her, I mean, as we saw throughout the Clone Wars show, she was very much about peace and no wars, no battles. And I think the issue is Anakin is like a warlord, you know, mindset. Like the best way to win an argument is through aggressive negotiations with a lightsaber, right? Like he believes in shutting it down, you know, fist first. And she's the other way, you know? So I think there's the opposite in opinion there. So I think she would be reluctant at first, because I think at this point, Anakin is going to get rid of the separatists. Like that's going to be his mindset, which kind of gets to our next point, right? Like what happens to the galaxy?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Necron does bring up a great point here. He says, but we're neglected. He is already Sith corrupted.
I don't think he is quite Sith corrupted.
But even if he was, that's not necessarily the nail in the coffin. In Legends, you have the story of Darth Revan, who was a Jedi, turned Sith, turned back to Jedi.
Yes.
So
tell us more about him.
I mean, I don't know much about him. He was, I believe, the main character in one of the Old Republic video games. And it was a story of this. So this was before the Rule of Two.
Before Darth
it was like during the huge like war between the Sith and the Jedi. But before that, Revan was a Jedi who, during the Mandalorian Jedi War, slayed the leader of Mandalore and then took his helmet and basically wore his helmet for the rest of his life. And then he and one of his other like Jedi like partners later in life went to challenge a Sith Lord, who then turned them both to the dark side. And then later on, his partner, who was turned with him, like betrayed him, killed him, and then the Jedi came in. They used like whatever medical technology, science to heal him, and turned him back into a Jedi, and converted him back into a Jedi. And then he led the battle against the Sith, is my understanding.
Interesting.
I could be wrong.
And as we saw in Obi-Wan, Necron, his eyes were flickering back and forth from...
it was going back and forth. And there is the rumor that apparently right before the Vader mask goes on to Anakin, before the end of Revenge of the Sith, Anakin apparently whispers. You can kind of make out something like that. It's kind of up to your interpretation. But some people say that Anakin says, "Padme, help me." Right as the mask goes onto his face. So take that for what if you consider that a thing or not. But I think personally, like how I kind of look at Anakin with this alternate ending is I think of his story at this point becomes really like a Julius Caesar kind of thing, you know, where he overthrows the government and he's the military general and all the soldiers are going to back him up because he's one of them, right? Like he's the warrior that's going to bring order and peace to the galaxy. So I think he kind of becomes that war general leader of the, you know, galactic republic or empire, whatever he's going to call it or do with it. But from the galaxy standpoint, guys, what do you think happens to the galaxy at this point? Like when Anakin's rule, does he go full on military mode and controls it? Or because of his slave background, does he kind of go easy on everyone, say, do with what you want. You are free to do whatever the hell you want.
I think he would go on like this military tirade throughout the campaign, throughout the Outer Rim, because of his slave background. If he just said do whatever you want, slavery would probably be rampant in the Outer Rim. But because of his slave background and his history with the clone army and fighting the separatists, I think he would go through a huge military campaign to try to bring peace, order, and prosperity to his new empire.
Okay, how about you, Orchid Beans?
I think his Air Force, or I guess would be a Space Force. He's got a Space Force.
Space Fleet or something like that?
I think he would just have the best pilots around. Like, I think he would kind of just rule the seas of the galaxy, you know, just kind of take over that area. And I think he would do a lot of just like, oh, this planet's pissing me off. Cool, you can't get any supplies to your planet now. So I think he basically becomes a space pirate. That's how I feel.
A space pirate.
He becomes a space pirate.
A mega pint.
A mega pint.
Yeah.
A mega pint. A mega pint of blue milk.
Why is the blue milk always gone?
So that's how I feel like he would rule. I feel like he would use to his advantage, like, because I mean, his warriors that he has can't hit shit with their blasters. So I feel like he would kind of just try to take over the airspace of the galaxy and just kind of rule that way, because that's what he was really good at.
We'll get into that eventually, Orkin Beans, because I think that's interesting of where you were thinking about with that. Corey, what becomes the state of the galaxy?
You know, I think Retro Nerd Girl brought up an interesting point here. Darth Vader has always been interested in personal pursuits. His family would be his main concern, and not necessarily the state of the galaxy. I wonder. So obviously, I do agree with his family being and Padme and the kids being a main concern, but I do see Tatooine just getting wiped out for sure. I think if we're blowing up a planet, we're blowing up Tatooine. That planet's gone.
You think his first is like, okay, the Death Star's built. I want to blow up my home planet with my stepbrother, and his,
It's gone. It's gone, man.
Do you think he would build the Death Star? Does he even know about the plans for the Death Star?
I mean, he would find out eventually, wouldn't he? I mean, one of the clone troopers would have told him.
Do the clone troopers know?
I mean,
was this something between
some reference that they had
the Emperor?
I mean, there's some reference that, I mean, depending on what lore you believe in, like in the old Battlefront 2 game, they helped get the Kyber crystals to build the Death Star.
Right, but that's after the fall of that's after the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Empire. Do the clones at this point know of the plans? Or will the plans
Someone would, and if Anakin's considered the leader in the Emperor, he would.
Sidious and the Emperor. We're not Sidious. Sidious is the Emperor. Sidious and Tyrannus, or Camp Dooku, were the plans kept between those two. And
I mean, right? I mean, they couldn't have built it by themselves, you know.
Well, they didn't start construction on it until the Empire rose, right?
I guess
the plans were designed by the Death Star was designed by the Geonosians, as we saw in Episode 2. So the Geonosians might also know, but I don't think. That's the only reference we get to the Death Star in the original trilogy. I don't think it started construction until after the Empire arose.
Well, we do see at the very end of Revenge of the Sith when Anakin is Darth Vader and he's on the bridge of one of the Imperial ships that the Death Star is being built. So, and we know it finishes building, essentially 20 years later, right? So, I mean, I guess it just depends on when that final end scene of Revenge of the Sith actually happens.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I think the biggest thing that I start to wonder is, do we think that a conflicted Anakin Vader fulfills his profit or fulfills his dreams and goals of stopping slavery, stopping the slaves?
Well, here's what I was actually thinking is I was thinking with the state of the galaxy, I think Anakin I think he starts off with trial and error. I think his first mindset would obviously be to patch things up with Padme and to keep his kids with him, right? Like, I think it's not going to be a a smooth relationship from then on. But I think he's obviously going to be focused on his family and mostly his kids. But I think he's already kind of made his duty the Republic, right? Like he's already has this mindset that says, I'm now the ruler of the Empire. So I don't quite believe that he would just let it be. But I think what would eventually happen, I think part of his mindset would be, one, let's wipe out the rest of the separatist forces. Like anyone who is a part of the separatist alliance, like he's going to get rid of them because in his mind, they're the problem. I think he gets rid of them. I think he makes a statement with the Senate, basically let them know it's my way or the highway. This is how things are going to be done. I think he's going to be kind of that dictator leadership where, yes, he's going to tell people like, yeah, no slavery and shit like that. People are free in every planet. And those who don't follow through with that and stop slavery or any type of, I guess you could say in a weird way, tyrannical government where they're oppressing their people, I think he goes in and annihilates them because he doesn't agree with it. But I think when I mean trial and error, I think he would have the mindset to be like, just let everyone be free. Because the young, immatureness, not quite immaturity of him, but like, I think the young leader in him would say, just everyone's free, go do what you want. And I think he would give him that power. And then he would see how many people take advantage of that situation. And I think that's when he becomes the hardcore leader and dictator, where he puts really a stomp and creates order throughout the galaxy and shutting people down, if there is any oppression like that. Noel's in the house. What's up, Noel? It's good to see you, Noel. Noel says, one way or another, his fear of losing Padme will still consume him. And as always, that will always be his undoing in any reality. The cosmic force will most likely make that so. So you think no matter what, Padme dies. You don't believe in the theory that it was potentially the Emperor that drained her life soul? That's interesting. Yeah, I think if Padme dies no matter what, I think he rules with a stronger fist almost. But now he has his kids, and I think he rules with his kids and creates... It very much becomes a Skywalker dynasty, I think, at that point, where his kids will go on to rule after him. He will teach them, he will teach him his way of ruling the galaxy, and they will become the next, most powerful Jedi Sith fiends in the world. Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure, because, Anakin, I think about what Anakin said, what was it, to Padme, where he's like, we need a system where politicians like talk to each other and agree on what the best interest is and then move forward, type of thing. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays into it all too.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like Attack of the Clones, right, that you were mentioning, is where he kind of says, like, they need someone wise and powerful who just makes them do it. And that's where the difference in ideologies, where Padme's like, that sounds like a dictatorship. And he says, well, if it works. So he's very much okay with that style of, and I think that's where the issue becomes. If Padme stays alive, which kind of brings us to our next topic. Corey, can you go ahead to our next slide, please? If Padme stays alive, I think the Senate still very much becomes intact. And I think Anakin is more willing to work with them to try to make the Senate a part of the discussion. I think if Padme is no longer there and creating that connection, that bridge between him and, the Senate, I think it's very much ruling with strength and military action.
So, quick question, Trey. Beth-Ann asked, didn't Anakin kill all the separatists, though? So
he killed all the separatist leaders. I don't know if,
it's
heavily implied that the separatist movement is dead.
It is heavily implied, but I think that's partly because, yes, the Emperor did have him shut down the all the droids and stuff like that, but you still have planets that are part of that separatist alliance, like Geonosians would still be a part of that. Mandalore was still kind of going through some of those issues, and some of the other planets. So I think I don't think it would be just it was a clear cut and dry. And I know you can't use it as canon or anything like that, but they do kind of reference, even in the old Battlefront 2 game, that there are still separatist leaders out there who are trying to continue their style and their way of life, their rule.
We got a super chat from Batman Stocks, and I think this is a great question.
We will get into this. I don't want to get into Ahsoka yet, but Corey, can you star this? Batman, that is a very great point, and you're already ahead of the curve, my man. We will definitely get into Ahsoka because I know that is a huge topic of what could happen. So, Corey, keep that in mind.
Yep, all right.
Noel says, whether Padme dies or not, losing loved ones will keep him in fear. That is the way of the dark side of the Force. I agree with that, but I think she is also, if she stays alive, I think she would be his only connection to the light side of the Force. I'm not saying it's you're going to get into my eventual topic. Yes, you're absolutely right. Staying in fear drives him to the dark side of the Force, but I think he becomes more than that. I think it's going to become a very interesting thing. So guys, to kind of stay on topic here, the Senate. What becomes of the Senate? Let's kind of go two ways. If Padme stays alive, what becomes of the Senate? If Padme dies, but there's still the children, what happens to the Senate? Let's start with FRESTO.
Okay. So, if Padme lives, I think the Senate stays intact. Well, I guess if Padme lives, it all depends on whether or not she decides to stay with Anakin. If she stays with Anakin and sort of kind of tries her best to pull him back to the light side or whatever, help him down the right path rather than the wrong path the Emperor was leading him down, I think the Senate stays intact and we sort of just move on to maybe a more theocratic rule. If Anakin, I think this is a later topic, but depending on how Anakin moves forward with rebuilding a system of Force wielders, of Force sensitives, could end up being a theocratic rule, because you can't deny that the Jedi Order and the Separatists are both very religious organizations. Okay. So any system of government that is led by them would be based on through that religion and therefore theocratic. But if Padme lives and decides to take the children and run, I feel like that would lead Anakin down a path of conquest. I think he would hunt through the galaxy, destroying anyone in his path until he found them. Now, if Padme died, but the children lived, I think Anakin would probably take a more backseat yet active role in the Senate. I still think the Senate would survive. No matter what, I think the Senate lives.
Okay.
Because Anakin can't do it by himself. And I think he understands that. I think he would be there to, maybe not necessarily the Senate, and more of a, like we were talking about, like we were discussing before the show started, Trey, the system of governing the various sections being Anakin at the top as the Galactic Emperor or whatever he ends up calling himself. Then Moffs, the Grand Moffs, and regional governors for various sectors of space. I think if Padme dies, that's what happens. Only difference is Luke and Leia aren't there to help the rebellion. I think the rebellion still comes to form, or starts to form at least. Whether it continues based on, like we'll discuss later, what happens with Ahsoka. I think, I don't think with Luke and Leia being with their father, being raised by their father, if Padme dies, being raised by their father alone to be the heirs to this galactic empire, whatever it ends up being, I don't think the rebellion would survive. Whether it survives for a short time because Ahsoka changes Anakin's path and things get better, or Ahsoka doesn't, and the events of Rebels still happen in mostly the same way. I don't think the rebellion survives under Anakin's rule like it did under Palpatine's.
Interesting. Orchid Beans, how about you?
So I feel like if she lives, the Senate continues, but she's like the face of it, the voice of it, but Anakin is kind of the brain of it and kind of just giving her his talking points that he wants done. But I think if she dies, I feel like he goes and tries it, but I think he would end up just getting so frustrated with the whole process. And I really don't see him going to like Senate meetings and stuff. And so I feel like he like gives it the good old college try, and then he's like, fuck this, I'm just gonna do my own thing. Like, why do I have to talk to these people? I'm just gonna murder. Because I feel like with him, like, power is such a weird thing for him because he was a slave, and for him, like, power was freedom because that's what separated you from being a slave and a master was the power. And so I feel like he would try to just gain so much power because then he would really feel free. And if he went to the Senate and started to see that like people were questioning him or trying to take away some of his power, he's like, well, I'm not free anymore. I'm not just doing what I want to do. And if these are the people that are holding me back, then fuck them. I'm just going to do my own thing. And so that's how I feel. Like if she's alive, she's there and she's kind of doing the Senate thing, but he's kind of giving her talking points, before he goes and blows up the planet or something. But if she's dead, he gives it a couple meetings and then he's like, you know what? I'm just going to do my own thing. Forget these people. I don't need them. I'm good enough on my own.
Interesting.
Okay. Super Bro Corey.
Yeah, I think either way, things end up the same way, in my opinion. And what I was wondering,
same way in how? Like same way as in the Empire still rules.
So I'm saying whether Padme lives or dies, the Senate, I think I could see them trying it out, like Orkin Bean said, like giving it the good old college try. And then after years upon years, realizing that nothing's getting done, that the only thing that, government does is stay slow. They don't really solve problems. They just kind of, stay in power to stay in power. And nothing is truly getting accomplished. This would then frustrate both Anakin, realizing that politicians are pieces of shit, but I feel like even Padme would start to be like, what are we doing?
But does Anakin not have that power to like you're gonna do this or you're dead?
But that's why we're saying it's a Senate. I think it becomes a dictatorship in some ways, like a loose dictatorship where he's like it's run similar to the Empire, but not as bad as the Empire. And only in the sense that like. I could see, slaves being freed, and it's like kind of like a Wild West mentality of the galaxy, in my opinion, where pretty much, everybody's allowed to live the life that they want to do as long as they're not doing dumb or stupid shit. And when you do dumb and stupid shit, you get the wrath of Anakin. You get Vader over there, choke forcing you, snapping necks. He's not going to mess around. You do something stupid that he doesn't like, you're gone, So it's going to be, instead of like diplomatic solutions, we're, yes, the Wild West Empire. So is how I see it.
I guess you also have to take into account, even in the current timeline, it took Palpatine 20-ish years to dismantle the Senate. Because in A New Hope, when all the Moffs get together in the room on the Death Star to have that meeting, and then there's that whole, and they talk about the rebellion, and there's that whole "I find your lack of faith disturbing." Tarkin says that the Emperor had just fully dissolved the Senate. Mm-hmm. So even under Palpatine's rule, it still took 2 decades to completely change the way of government.
Interesting.
I like what Noah said here. If Padme lives, her conscience will pull her into the side of rebellion, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith, as established resolve regarding love versus liberty. Now, the thing that I wonder, though, is if she's constantly seeing, the Senate not do anything, politicians not do anything, does that change? Like, does she get a little jaded, I guess, over the years? She's did a lot being queen.
Yeah.
To a senator and so on. So,
in a way, she might come around a little more to Anakin's beliefs, because he would be that fist behind her, because her beliefs, I think, truly, because like let's think about this. If she does stay alive, I think Anakin really like tries to like go out of his way to like find a way to like keep her, to like have her, like, because let's face it, Padme's not going to forgive him for what he did to the Jedi Padawans. I mean, maybe she'll believe him that the Jedi were corrupt. I think she would always like be about that, but like killing kids would have been like a no for her. I know we talked about the Tusken Raiders, but like assume that because Tusken Raiders were considered like creatures and just bad people, that she accepted it.
But she's still trying to give him a chance. She's still trying to save Anakin.
Yeah, and that's where I say, does she come around? Like, I think he tries to push her beliefs and the whole peaceful solutions, but I think he's the fist behind her ideas. That if the politicians don't follow what she's going for, then he's going to be the hammer that goes like, no, this ends now. Stop your corruption. If you are corrupt, you die. And I think that almost becomes a very interesting style galaxy, because while the Emperor, everyone was just afraid because let's rule for, like we have to do what he says or we're dead, or he's going to put taxes on us, whatever, all that stuff. With Vader and Anakin, it's like you have the face where people can listen to Padme, but if they go against her, because her rule, I think, wouldn't be too bad. I think her ways of, making the galaxy work together would be all in all the best for the galaxy. But I think Anakin provides her that military support that backs up her decision, where people are going to listen partly out of fear, but it really is in their best interest if they do listen.
Yeah. I like what Retro Nerd Girl said here too. Vader does not have the skills to manipulate the galaxy like the Emperor did, and that's where Padme would be that voice, if she went along for the ride, right? And in reality, don't most politicians probably go in there with I'm going to do good, and then they get down. All to the when you realize that everything's corrupt, it's not much more you can do after that.
Yeah, absolutely. So very, very interesting point, guys. Well, and this was kind of getting into our next topic with how does Anakin as one person maintain order? Now, I have always thought the Emperor made a bad decision, as kind of Orkin Bean said, like all of his people can't shoot. Stormtroopers suck. Well, I don't think Anakin would get rid of the clone army. Corey, can you go to our next slide? I think he keeps the 501st. I think he keeps the clone production. And I mean, why wouldn't he? He respects the clones, and the clones respect him because he was a great general for them. I think, and because of that, he will always have a superior army that will, no matter what, follow his orders.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Trey, because I haven't seen all of Clone Wars, obviously, yet. I thought I've seen little clips and things like that where even some of the clone troopers and officers were like, "Ooh, that's a really bad plan by the Jedi," and had some doubt with some of the Jedi generals. Is that accurate?
It's very rare that they disagreed with. I mean, yes, it did happen. I mean, here's a great example. When Ahsoka was a young Padawan, she was technically considered above the clones in terms of military, ranking.
Of them.
Yeah,
she was a commander. There were still there were clones like Cody, who was Obi-Wan's right hand, was at the same rank as Ahsoka and other Jedi Padawans.
Yeah. So I mean, some clone troopers had to take orders from a young Padawan who was just figuring things out. So there were some disagreements, but the clones were very good soldiers, right? Like, you're the military ranking officer. We believe you. We listen to you. And depending on, I don't think Anakin would have used the chip on all the clone troopers like they did for Order 66. But I think Anakin would be up there in level with Obi-Wan. They both respect the shit out of Obi-Wan and Anakin. So Anakin being the new ruler of the galaxy, I think the clones would be like it for them. It would be like getting their military leader that's making the decisions, and they would think the galaxy was going to be perfect, And plus, remember, the Emperor gets rid of the clones. He all has them decommissioned, and some of them, they get rid of them. They have a few of them around to train the stormtroopers, but the clones go away, as we even saw in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, right? There's that one homeless clone trooper of the 501st. Now the clones are going to continue. He's going to have the superior military force throughout the entire galaxy, and he doesn't, they get the job done, right? As we learned, the clones were very effective compared to stormtroopers. The only reason why the stormtroopers worked out for the Emperor was essentially because it made every galaxy have to support him, because those are our kids, those are our children going into the stormtrooper, army. Like we have to, it was like giving up your kids to go to war and stuff like that for the Emperor. While it was a cause they didn't quite believe in, it forced them to become a part of his solution, rather than the clones. They were just perfection of an army, that they were like the Spartans, right? Like you're just not going to mess with them. They win. So what's your guys' thoughts on that? If Anakin does he keep the clone army? And if so, does that work in his favor?
I think the way Anakin is sort of in tune with not in tune with his emotions. We already know he's not very in tune with his emotions. But sort of in his like sentimentality and stuff, being a general on the front lines with the clones, I don't think he would ever get rid of them. I think he keeps them.
Interesting.
How about you, Orc and Beans?
Yeah, I think he definitely keeps them around. But I also think he implements the Inquisitors quicker. I don't know when.
I don't think there would have been Inquisitors, because in extended universe, and I think it's the new extended universe with all the Inquisitors, Palpatine sort of forces the Inquisitors onto Vader, and Vader wanted nothing to do with them.
I think, and this is a hot take, real hot take.
Here we go.
I don't think he kills all the younglings. I think he keeps some of them alive, and I think he creates his own little Jedi school, and he uses the Inquisitors as teachers. And I think he uses not only a clone army, but a Sith Lord army.
Okay, well, I think interesting you brought that up, because that was literally going to be our next topic. So we all agree that the clone army probably sticks around. Corey, let's go ahead. And also, I think Batdan said Anakin kills Commander Fox with no hesitation. Technically, he was Darth Vader at that time, and if I recall, the Emperor sent Commander Fox to kill him, as a trial, if I remember correctly. So I don't think that really counts yet. But yeah, see, the clones definitely stick around. So it sounds like everyone's there. So interesting that Orc and Beans brought that up. I totally agree with this. I think if Anakin is the new leader of the Republic or the Empire, however you want to look at it, I think he creates a new Force-sensitive academy. Now, the reason why I didn't say Jedi Temple or Sith Temple is I personally think that Anakin, one of his biggest kind of pet peeves with the Jedi is that they didn't allow them to learn about the other side of the Force. I think he does both. I think Anakin finds the perfection between being Sith and Jedi and becomes a gray Jedi academy. What's your guys' thoughts on, so as Orc and Beans brought up, making his own Jedi Academy, FRESTO, what do you think Anakin's new Force-sensitive academy, what do you think that would be like?
I don't think personally it would be younglings. I think based on his experience with it and the way how they almost refused to train him because of his age when he was brought to them, and to his issues with the Order and their way of thinking and how they sort of indoctrinated children, and that whole you made a commitment, one not easily broken thing that Obi-Wan tells him at the beginning of Attack of the Clones. I think anyone Force sensitive brought into this new Force sensitive academy would be older. Maybe like teenager range, like the age of a Padawan. Because I just don't think he would be cool with sort of brainwashing children.
Okay, how about you, Orc and Beans?
For me, if I do kind of like that idea of that, like they would be older, but I think he would, not only would this academy be kind of like learn how to be a Jedi / Sith, but it's also like an orphanage. Like I think he would definitely go around and pick up force sensitive orphans and stuff like that. Like, hey, I can find you a home. I can find you people that will take care of you, and also I'm going to teach you some cool tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it would be an academy / orphanage.
Corey, how about you? What's your thoughts?
So, a great Jedi, as Red Hooded Outlaw said, and me and Retro Nerd Girl are in tune today, because this is exactly what I thought as well when we first kind of brought this concept up. Anakin was supposed to be the chosen one to bring balance to the Force.
Well, so here's the idea about that. Recently, there's been a lot going around. George Lucas had a plan for the sequel trilogy that he gave to Disney when he sold Lucasfilms to them and Star Wars to them, that they didn't go with. But in this sequel trilogy, Darth Maul was going to come back with his criminal empire that he was building up in Clone Wars, and was hinted at in the Solo film. And he was going to have an apprentice, Darth Toulis. I don't remember her name. And it was going to be, the story was going to revolve around Leia and her battle against, and the New Republic's battle against this criminal empire. And it was going to be revealed that Leia was the chosen one, not Anakin, not Luke, but Leia, and that she was going to defeat Maul and his apprentice and bring balance.
Yeah, there was something like that. I do recall that.
Yeah, but how I see it is, sometimes good people have to do evil shit, right? Like, peace through superior firepower in some ways. So
kind of like what they suggested in Rogue One with the Rebels, how they kind of did shady shit.
Yes, exactly. And we know the Jedi Council wasn't squeaky clean either. So I think that by bringing the balance to the Force, he wiped out the Sith, obviously killing Emperor Palpatine. He's wiped out the Jedis, obviously, and he does his own thing. Now I agree with who said it also as well. With Trevor H here, I don't think age will matter to Anakin given his history. I completely agree with this statement. I think anybody who's Force sensitive gets to join this academy, and it's a refugee for like everybody who's Force sensitive that wants to learn, who wants to be able to love, but and have possessions and still do and still not find their way into the dark side. Like there's a happy medium, right? There's it's not always black and white. There is gray, as we could say. And I'm dying to bring up the slide, Trey. So
go ahead, but
you must.
Yeah, go ahead and bring up the slide. So because some people who don't quite understand the concept of the gray Jedi, I found this great little slide that someone created that shows the Sith code, the gray code, and the Jedi code. So as we know with the Sith code, Corey, can you bring that full screen again? So
I can read it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it says the Sith code, obviously, peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall set me free. The Jedi code was, there is no emotion. There is peace. There is no ignorance. There is knowledge. There is no passion. There is serenity. There is no chaos. There is harmony. there is no death, there is the Force. And the Gray Code, which states there is no dark side nor a light side, there is only the Force. I will do what I must to keep the balance. There is no good without evil, but evil must not be allowed to flourish. There is passion yet peace. There is serenity yet emotion. There is chaos yet order.
So I think this explains Anakin as a person through and through. Because I think he believes in this to a core, which is why he's able to flip kind of back and forth. And as we even kind of saw with Obi-Wan Kenobi, of him flipping from, kind of his eyes have constantly changed. I mean, eventually he completely succumbs to the Sith code and beliefs, right? Because he just, the Emperor is his master, right? But in this world where he kills Obi-Wan, he kills the Emperor because he believes that he can create a better society than both Jedi and Sith. So what does that mean? How do you create, if you're going to create a better society than the Jedi and the Sith? He's been raised with the beliefs of slavery, and how that's awful and how it just ruins everything, right? And it can take away so much. He's been raised through the Jedi code and how the Sith are completely evil, but when push went to shove with the Emperor trying to convince him, hey, the Sith has this ability that can keep your wife alive, and very much it could have been the Emperor implementing the ideas that Padme was gonna die, to help his cause. So where does Anakin find that peace and ground? Like we said in Clone Wars, he had issues that the Jedi weren't willing to give knowledge about the Sith because they didn't want their students learning about the Sith ways and determining, well, that sounds like a good deal. So I think he finds a perfect balance within the gray code of the Jedi Force, of the Force, the gray code of the Force, that this is the academy he brings. The welcoming of everyone's who's Force sensitive is welcome to be here. Everyone is here to learn everything about the Force so that you can be your perfect, better self. What do you guys think about this? Do you think, one, is this the direction he does go with creating a gray code? But more importantly, do you think in the long run that this is sustainable if everyone has the ability to achieve ultimate power in a sense? Is it too much freedom to learn everything about the Force? Were the Jedi in some cases right about not tapping into the dark side of the Force? Let's start with Fresto.
I personally think it's and I had heard different things. I personally always thought it was kind of hypocritical of the Jedi to preach balance in the Force, yet say no dark side. The dark side should be wiped out. Though I have heard things that's not what balance of the Force means and stuff, but I'm no expert in it, but I say I would think that Anakin would preach a balance of light and dark to sort of double back on his students, no matter their age. My point earlier, and I guess this is kind of unrelated, would be I don't think he would like the whole orphan thing would be I would agree with, and maybe they are younger if that's the case. I don't think he would take them away from his family, from their families. But I think he would because he values that connection, that emotion. So I feel like to preach this gray side, I feel like he would preach an emotional connection. So like Orc said, he would preach this, like this orphanage would be to like build connections between them, to build emotion, to keep this balance as he sees it intact.
Okay. And Orc and Beans, how about you? What do you think about this whole idea with the Gray Academy? And to kind of include, was it you, Orc and Beans, or was it Fresto or Batten who was talking about Ahsoka in this? Do you think Ahsoka comes back and becomes a teacher at his academy?
I think with the Gray Code idea, it would be his intention. That would be his goal, but I don't think it's achievable. And the reason why I don't think it's achievable is because you would see more gray Jedi around if it was so achievable. And I don't think... I think he would eventually have to lean to one side, and it would probably be the Sith side is where he ends up leaning on. And with the Ahsoka stuff, I don't know. I'm still working on Clone Wars just like Corey is.
Okay.
So I'm not totally sure what her mindset would be. From what I know, I don't think she would.
I just realized I don't want to spoil what happens with Ahsoka with you guys.
I know a little bit, and
okay. I know she fights him at one point in Rebels or something.
Yes, she does. But I don't want to tell you what happens to like a certain thing happens with her that would possibly make you suggest that she would agree with Anakin that the good and dark isn't quite the like the Jedi aren't perfect either.
How far are you into Clone Wars?
I'm like season 2.
I'm still season 1. So if we need to step away for a second, we totally can.
No. I don't want to step away, but I would just tell you that when you get to the end of Clone Wars, you would learn that.
I guess.
Sorry, go ahead.
I guess we could say this. Cody, have you seen oh gosh, was it Mandalorian? Yeah, it was
Yes.
Yeah, Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You've seen Mandalorian, right? So
yeah.
we see her there, and we see that she's off doing her own thing anyway.
Yes.
As I think we both can come to the conclusion, Orc Beans, that we know that she's not, helping out the rebels and the Jedi too much, and she's not joining the Vader and the Sith. So clearly,
not entirely true because in Rebels she does assist, but she is off kind of doing her own mission. Yeah. She's very much her own.
She's kind of like a bounty hunter almost, in some ways, where she's helping the rebels out when is that fair to say, Trey? She helps the rebels out when it is something righteous that she believes in, but
she definitely believes in there's a right way and there's a bad way, and she doesn't think the Empire is right. But I would say the key for her to kind of give you guys the clue is the color of her dual lightsabers.
White.
Well, her lights. Okay, so the white lightsabers. Okay, a red lightsaber, from my understanding, is what happens when a Sith takes a kyber crystal and forces it to. We sort of in Clone Wars learned that, in an extended universe learned that kyber crystals and wands in Harry Potter are very similar in that the kyber crystal chooses its master, not the other way around. They sort of get sent into a kyber crystal cave and are there to meditate until they find the kyber crystal that chooses them. And yes, makes it bleed is the way I've heard it. And so red, you get no kyber crystal is naturally red. A red kyber crystal is what happens when a Sith or anyone takes the kyber crystal and makes it bleed. They sort of force the kyber crystal into submission rather than letting it choose them.
Yeah.
And a white lightsaber, a white kyber crystal, is what you get when someone who is not that Sith takes the crystals that those Sith has forced to bleed and sort of heals them.
Yeah.
And so then you get white. And so that's the fact that she had white lightsabers was less she's not a Jedi, not a Sith, and more of a that's what she had available to her because the crystal caves were locked away, and so she worked with what she had.
Yeah.
But bringing back that point, you brought up Mandalorian, and that makes me believe that she wouldn't go with and Anakin and teach there, is that she refused to train Grogu because he was too old and too attached to Mando. I don't think she would be able to just, even with everything that happens, I don't think she would be able to justify that gray code with her beliefs.
And obviously this has we need to watch all of Clone Wars, Orchid Beans, but the bits and pieces that I've seen of it so far, and some of the YouTube shorts and stuff like that, that I've seen of her. I wonder if she could eventually get back to it, because again, we're seeing a little bit. This is not Vader anymore, really. This is technically before she fights Vader, right?
Right.
So she would come across him again, realize that he's doing this. Hey, I have seen clips where Anakin feels very much that he failed a show. Is that
Ahsoka?
correct? Yeah, Ahsoka. He failed.
Not so much that he failed her, but that the Jedi failed her.
Yes, but he didn't stand by her. I thought I saw.
No, he does stand by her, but he lets her. So I don't want to spoil it, but he lets her choose for her. He's very much about choice, right? Like he doesn't believe that it should be one. Like he doesn't believe that this is the rules here. This is the set standards, right? Like you should be able to have the freedom. And with Ahsoka, I think someone said it in the chat that I think it was Trevor H. Where he says that I think he meant she has a consistent need to help. She wants to help Anakin, right? I think even in the final season, she can feel his turn to the dark side and is trying to get through to him. So I think very much like Padme, she would stick around to try to help guide him, to kind of keep him not so much in check, but to the belief, the constant attachment she has to her own master, because Anakin's her master. I think she would feel the responsibility to help him, to get him to a good place mentally with the Force, and maybe that deters a little bit away from using the dark side of the Force. But I think she would be willing to hear them out, because she has seen firsthand through experience that the Jedi maybe haven't always been right,
Did Ahsoka give up too early on Anakin is what we're talking about?
No. I think did Anakin give up too early on Ahsoka?
No, she definitely doesn't. Well, see, Corey, do you ever plan on watching Rebels? Do any of you plan on watching Rebels?
Yeah, I plan on it.
In that case, I don't want to spoil it, because there's something that happens in Rebels with Ahsoka and Vader that is so mind-blowing in terms of what we know about Star Wars and that universe, that it kind of changes the game completely for Star Wars, and specifically with, Ahsoka and Vader. It really complex. It complex. I don't know how to say it without giving it away. I don't want to give it away. Just know that there's something mind-blowing that happens with Ahsoka and Vader that changes everything.
I want to address something that Noel said here, specifically number 2. He says, he sucks being a student / Padawan. How will that make him a good teacher / master? So my question is, I guess first things first, Trey, how did, and maybe let me ask this question. Do they explain why Anakin gets a Padawan?
It's Corey, it happens in the Star Wars Clone Wars movie that you have to watch. I think it's 90 minutes long, and Yoda basically, it's kind of his way of
do I watch that first, or?
Yeah, you should watch it.
It's what started off the whole Clone Wars.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I should probably go find that first.
Yeah,
it's on Disney Plus too. So essentially, it was Yoda's way of kind of pushing Anakin to that next step of maturity within the Force and within the Jedi Academy.
I haven't seen. So without getting too much deeper into that, would Ahsoka say that Anakin was a good?
She would teacher. Completely say he was a great teacher. And if anything, while I hear what Noel is saying about his trust issues, there's definitely trust issues there. But I don't know if he was so much a bad student, except for that he was ahead of, they wanted him to follow a certain pace, because you have to realize he was
a gifted student,
and a very gifted student, and also older, so he's going to form his own opinions, much faster.
Gifted student in a freaking public school. So, what's going on here?
Yeah, he was, egotistical because he was ahead of everyone.
He was
and
better
it was
than
kind of
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they suggested, right? In Attack of the Clones, is that he was very much Obi-Wan couldn't keep up with him even then, because he's even able to go up against Count Dooku and take him down, and eventually take him down in Revenge of the Sith. So I wouldn't say Anakin was a bad student. I think, yes, there was definitely things that he was irritating as a student, but in a way, it was because he was more advanced than everyone, and they were trying to hold him back because he was moving too fast. But as Batan said, he was a great teacher. Ahsoka would totally believe that he was a great teacher. And Ahsoka, in a very way, because of Anakin's teachings, was forced to be more advanced than typical Padawans. Like, she was running her own army at what, 12, 13, something like that. Like, she was really young, when she was running her own unit of the 501st. So something to keep in mind.
That's interesting. So I think that there's absolutely a possibility that she comes to train in this gray code, because we don't get the rebel story. We with this timeline. And if he's creating something that is a refugee for force sensitive people off on their own, I think she could find some themes there that brings her to this as well.
Awesome point, Corey. Awesome point. So to kind of,
I didn't even see that stuff yet.
To kind of just
Corey was right.
Jesus, super bro. So let's kind of put this together. I think one question that we haven't really answered quite yet is, with creating this. I think, first off, are we on agreement that if Anakin did create an academy, it would probably be of like gray force sensitive code that
I
they
do
would
think
go
that's
by?
how it would start. Yes.
Okay. Now, going that way, do you think, while the beginning, that's a very great idea that like seems very appetizing, right? Do you think that creates too much freedom that will lead to chaos, because they're, in a way, it allows for too much opportunity for bad things to happen? I mean, great things can happen, but also you have to look at opposite, what's the bad that could come from that. Do you think there's too much freedom in the gray code to have a giant academy full of students, or do you think this becomes a utopia for everyone?
I think with the gray code would be, if he indoctrinated into the gray code instead of the Jedi code, it would be, which I believe would be the right option personally, but I believe it would lead to the rise of a new Sith thing, because those temptations are there, those choices are there, those teachings are there. Someone's gonna get power hungry.
Well, I think that's a possibility, but that's where you get Anakin there, the greatest one to bring balance to the Force ever. That, all right, I see your ways. We've given you the chance. Peace through superior firepower. Bam! I snapped your neck.
Alrighty. How about you, Orc and Beans?
Because he's still the head of HMFIC, right? We're still saying that even with this gray code Jedi Academy, as well as Padme, trying to do her things in the Senate, as well as him being the military, the HMFIC, the head motherfucker in charge, general of the entire military, of the galaxy. He's not going to let that shit slide. If you're not, you're conforming to, it, then fine. We'll just take you out.
How about you, Orc and Beans? What's your thoughts?
I feel like I said earlier, it's such a good idea of just trying to keep this balance, but eventually each person would lean to a side. And then I think you get like the greatest civil war ever. Eventually you would have a side that leaned towards more the Sith side, and you'd have more that lead towards the Jedi side, and it would create this just gigantic battle. And with what Corey is saying is he would shut that shit down, but But if he shuts down a Sith side, well, then does that mean he has to walk over across the room and snap a Jedi side's neck too, like to keep the balance? Like, eventually, he also would probably lean to a side.
But even if he didn't, you have to remember, Anakin will not live forever. Eventually, whether that be in hundreds or thousands of years, no matter how long this Grey Code temple or whatever survives, there will eventually come a time where, like,
that's where the
said,
Skywalkers continue to take on.
Hold on, let Orc and Beans finish.
Right.
No, I'm good. Fresto, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Fresto. Sorry,
like Orc said, the Civil War would break out, eventually leading to a civil war, probably, and to sort of merge the two thoughts together long after Anakin is dead.
So you think no matter what, like to form the perfect like Gray code to be in that perfect zone of balance, you think
I don't think it's sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
I think it's possible to form it. I just don't think it's sustainable.
Okay. Are you kind of all like in agreement with that? Like you don't think the perfect balance?
What's your thought? Because you're shaking your head now.
I think we finally have a balance in the Force. I think that through Anakin's, peace through superior firepower in a lot of ways, I think the Skywalker bloodline holds on to that. And like the Grey Code said, there is passion yet peace, there is serenity yet emotion, there is chaos yet order. I think that it's chill. We're still Wild West, in a lot of ways. But if it gets too crazy, there's order. He shuts that shit down. Some more chaos, he shuts that shit down. So eventually people are going to be like, oh, damn, these Skywalkers are just straight up, merkin fools if they get out of line. And therefore, peace through superior firepower, people just kind of go. Now, eventually there's going to be some, Sith or some person that tries to rise up, and there will be a war, and we'll smash them down, and we'll beat them up, and then people for the next.
That's choosing a side, though.
And that thought is all well and good until the Skywalker bloodline gets so diluted that until like few generations away, and there's a Skywalker who picks a side.
But
do you think it ever gets to it, or do the Skywalkers continue because they keep having children that they eventually become the most superior Jedi, like Force-sensitive being?
But it's Anakin that is supposed to be one that keeps the balance. Once Anakin's gone, who's supposed to keep the balance?
Luke, Leia, and then whoever their kids are, right?
But it's Anakin that is supposed to be the chosen one that keeps the balance.
No, I'm not saying that.
Not his kids.
Say Anakin's the chosen one. That's why he's so powerful with the Force. Luke and Leia aren't as powerful as Anakin was.
Maybe.
Are they not, though? I was under the impression that they kind of suggest Luke. I mean, through Bloodline, like we learned that. I mean, if you consider the sequel trilogy canon, which it is, as we've seen, Palpatine's, grandchild becomes probably one of the most. I mean, obviously, she's not even training, and yet somehow she can tell, people what to do and shit like that. So
right. But she's not in this timeline.
You have to think that.
True. Good point. Well, he does kill her to where she doesn't. Good.
Two. Well, it depends on when Palpatine's son is born. We don't know that.
Yeah. I was kind of under the impression that. Well,
I was under the impression it happened. But you have to keep in mind if you say that, but despite the fact that Anakin was the chosen one and you keep those bloodlines, Rey, who was Palpatine's child, still beat Kylo Ren, who was Anakin's grandchild.
Who was training. Yeah.
Who was training. So even with the blood of the chosen one in his veins, he still lost to some random person who would never been trained. And even after a small amount of training, lost even harder.
Yes. But I'm going to bring up what Bat Dan Thought said, because this is what I was getting to. Anakin brings the balance to the Force. It is up to the others to keep it up. Now, but what if I said, which I could completely agree with this statement, but I was hearing you guys talk, because you're like, you guys don't have much faith in Skywalker's kids and everything like that. But what if Anakin finds a way to stay alive. He finds the
secret of
Mhm.
Darth Plagueis, and
Yes.
But doesn't that skew the balance then? Because now he's
No.
leaning towards more Sith powers. And during your explanation, you kept saying chaos, chaos, chaos.
Mhm.
He has
Yet
to then,
order.
but he's the one bringing
There's
the
always
order,
the gray.
which puts him on the other side.
No.
I hear what you're saying, because it would, the perception of some in that academy would probably suggest, well, he just took out, a Sith, like, does that mean he's like more on Team Jedi? The people would have that debate. And honestly, Ahsoka would probably be a part of that conversation. I don't think she would be so willing to teach students about the dark side of the Force, because in her mind, that's wrong, right? That's the evil part.
But to combat that statement, Trey, if we want, I think it was Fresto who brought up the Harry Potter world. They do teach the dark arts at the one, the wizard
Defense against the dark arts.
Defense against the dark arts.
Yes, but I heard them Crucios saying some shit there.
That
So
they were taught that
exactly
by a Death Eater.
Yeah,
who's impersonating Mad-Eye Moody.
Yes, no. See, that wasn't supposed to be taught, Corey.
Corey loves to skip the details.
Right? Oh, totally. Yeah, Corey, you're such a Sith.
I taught them that was evil.
It's good to know, though, right? I feel like it's good to know.
So, all really great takes. I freaking love these Delta Squad stuff, man. So now that we've played around with multiple ideas of this multiverse of Anakin's rule, let's kind of be weird a little bit. Corey, let's go to our next slide. If the Emperor, we've seen how his role was, and now we've kind of contemplated what possibly Anakin's rule of the Empire would be like. Who did it better? If creating a Jedi Academy and keeping the clone army to maintain order, and having Padme possibly still around to rule the Senate with peace, but with his military force behind it to keep everyone in check, and kind of to follow through with Padme's peaceful resolutions, is that a better system than what the Emperor had, ruling completely by fear? Let's start with Fresto.
I'm very curious to hear what you guys say on this.
I think it would be more challenging. I think it would be I personally believe it would be the better way to rule. I think it would be more challenging and could possibly lead to more problems than the Empire had. But I do ultimately think it would be the better way.
So with Anakin, or is what you're saying, Fresto?
Yeah, Anakin with Padme at his side, and the Galactic Senate that is heavily influenced by Anakin and Padme.
So you're saying as long as Padme's there, Anakin has a better galaxy. If you take her away, would you say Emperor?
Padme away, I don't think it would be any different than Palpatine. The only difference being that the soldiers of Anakin's empire would be more effective than the soldiers of Palpatine's empire, because we have the clones rather than the stormtroopers. Okay.
Orc and Beans.
So for me, I feel like, we've talked about so many different scenarios. Again, if Padme's not there, it ends in like 7 months. There is no more Anakin Empire. But I feel like if he does go through with this, Gray Jedi Academy that we're talking about.
Real quick on that.
Yeah.
Orc and Beans, a question on your 7 months thing. Is that with Padme being gone and no kids, or Padme and the kids both gone? I forgot to ask that about earlier.
If Padme is not in the picture, no matter if there's kids or not, he's done in 7 months.
Okay.
Because I think she is the key to keep the Empire going. But I feel like if he does this academy, I don't really think there is an Anakin Empire, because I feel like that's too much on his plate to not only run an academy, but also the Senate and an empire. Like, I feel like he would eventually have to kind of choose which one he would want to do. And I think he would probably turn to the academy and then maybe become some sort of like outsourced military group where he's like, oh, you want to buy a Jedi? Sure, I got one for you.
I'm not sure that would be the case though, because I think sorry to interrupt you, Orcamedes, but just to kind of throw this in the loop though, I think he could do it both, because I think if he does have Ahsoka there as well, then I think Ahsoka can kind of be the main Jedi leader, or at least Gray Jedi instructor, while he's very much, I mean, you have to remember, if Padme, because we're assuming at this point Padme is still around, she's running the Senate basically. He's just the, like I said, the force that everyone is having to listen to her and go with what she says. And if I think what Anakin would do, and maybe this would be a great thing for the Academy, is because he would keep the clones around and they have that Mandalorian belief system with Vode on, brotherhood, that I think he would create a similar training with the the clones and the Jedis to kind of keep that sense of brotherhood, so to where it's almost he can flip back and forth, because he can put his trust in all these things that he already believes in.
Then he's not the one keeping the balance, like Corey's been talking about. If he's trusting in others to do it, then he's not the one keeping the balance.
Corey's making, if he's a leader,
but Corey sounds like he's just the executioner at this point.
No, I'm saying as far as his academy goes, I see that he lays the curriculum down. This is what's supposed to be taught, and then he has other people execute what he's asked them to do. And then he'll pop in every now and then. But he's off doing his thing in my thing. I don't see that being unreasonable by any means.
I just feel like he'd have too much on his plate, and he'd be putting too much trust into others people, and I feel like that's not his thing. Like, he's very like, I'm the one that can do it. I can do it. And like I talked about with his desire for power to equal freedom because of him being a slave, like, if other people are running his shit, then it's not really his shit anymore.
I mean, but doesn't he? I mean, he does trust people. Like, he trusts Commander Rex. He lets Rex go off and do his own thing, and kind of even says at some points, like just trust Rex. Just trust R2-D2. They're gonna get it done. They always get it done. And he even says that with Ahsoka. Like, when Yoda and Obi-Wan aren't convinced that Ahsoka's ready, he's kind of like, because he was in that position, you kind of see him often be like, "You're ready, Simps. Go out and do it." I think there is some trust with him, with some people. I think he has a very tight group that he trusts. I think
that stuff is before he's killed a bunch of little kids and has really gone crazy. Like, that's still Anakin. We also have to talk about this is crazy Anakin now.
Yes, but I mean, did the clones not help him with that? I mean, I think, yes, absolutely. Ahsoka would probably be, and Padme would probably be very skeptical with the whole killing of the Padawans. I don't think Ahsoka would be very down with that. But even after what she knows Anakin has done, and when he's Vader and Rebels, she tries to help him. She tries to say, like, you can come back from this. So I think, in a way, she would believe that her presence with Anakin would make him better for the good of everyone. I think they would kind of just not so much put it to the side, but they would hold him in check in a way. Like, Anakin's checks and balances would be Padme, his kids, people like Commander Rex and Ahsoka. I truly think that would be the case.
But then does that not push him towards the good side? If those are all good people, who's keeping him on? Who's the devil on his shoulder? He's got all these angels. Who's his devil?
What we're saying is
it R2-D2?
Vader.
Crazy too.
I feel like Vader is his devil.
Yeah.
Because as we saw in Obi-Wan, Vader and Anakin seem to be like two different personalities.
Yeah. That's what I think. We've all kind of
while
said,
we do start with Vader as ruling this empire, and Padme lives, and if Ahsoka comes back, I feel like they kind of pull in Anakin, and then Anakin sort of finds this balance between.
I think think as far as the Jedi code goes, like they say, there is no emotion, there is peace. I think he teaches people to be able to have their emotion and still create peace. There is no passion, there is serenity. He's able to show them how you can have passion and serenity. And as we know, peace through superior firepower. There is no chaos, there is harmony. There, I think there's some things that he's able to teach. Now, what I'm going to specifically say about who would rule better, without a doubt in my mind, it's Anakin. Anakin would have ruled better. And you got to think, guys, we're not saying that there's a Jedi Academy or the Grey Code Academy, right away. There's a lot of things that they need to fix within the Force. So, this Padme and them have to work some things out. They have to kind of restore the galaxy in some ways, figure that out. And
I think he starts the academy when his kids are of age.
When his kids are of age. And then he finds hope for them that, orphanage for Force-sensitive people. When he has all those, in my opinion, all those, things done in his life, and he's able to focus, have something, that foundation, a strong foundation for what he now believes, because like we know, he's not fully Darth Vader and he's not fully Anakin. So when he finds that perfect combination of what works best for him, that's when he creates the Grey Code and this how to push forward in the Force.
I think in a way to find balance between the two people that are inside him.
Exactly. Bringing balance to the Force. And that's what there is. There is no dark side.
The question will be if
nor
everyone
light
is
side.
willing
There's
to
only the
accept
Force.
that. Is Ahsoka willing to accept that balance of both sides? And I think there's a possibility, simply because of the respect that she has for Anakin, that she may just maybe be able to come around with it, especially with, once again, I can't spoil it for you guys, but with what she knows and understands about the Jedi. I think she may be able to come around with it. It's a question. Obviously, we're playing like what if scenario, which is obviously the topic of this show, but like, I think there's an opportunity for it could work out in a way where, yes, maybe the whole Grey Jedi Academy is the way to go. And I think overall, like, I know it's a lot of what ifs, but I think if everything did work out in that sense of Padme still alive, I think someone who said it, Padme is the key. I think Orkin Bean said it, and I think someone else said it in our chat. Padme is definitely Padme is definitely the key to Anakin's sanity. Now, I think it's going to, like Corey said, I think it's going to take time, because he's going to have to convince her that, I almost think that Padme, being the type of person that she is, would not so much forgive Anakin on it, but hold him to a standard that says, we're in this now. You have to make this right. Because as someone said at Revenge, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, there's still good in him. I know it. I think she holds him to that you have now a responsibility to the galaxy to put order and peace through what I believe in, and I think there's going to be a bit of a compromise in fixing that. And who knows, maybe it all works out to where the galaxy is in a way perfect in a sense. But I think the Emperor truly ruled with fear, and that the dark side was the best way, and there was no room for anything else but his rule. I think Anakin could pull from both, because he's seen both. He's lived both. He's seen oppression. He's seen slavery, but he's also seen the Jedis in a corrupt view, to where he says, I can do it better. What does that mean? Allowing both, allowing both sides of the Force to be a part of the guide to life. So very, very interesting, guys.
And
so
before we move on too much from that, Trey, I want to mention what the chat is kind of saying.
Yeah.
If we have a second for that. Trevor H says, I like your guys' theory. I'm going to go with Anakin.
Okay.
Oracle's Clock Tower says Anakin. Red Outlaw, Hooded Outlaw agreed with FRESTO. Bat Fanatic said Padme is the key, which we agree there. Retro Nerd Girl said with Anakin, definitely with Padme and without the Academy, but she later changes that. Anakin would be better than Palpatine, says Bad Dan Thoughts. Hashtag Restore the Snyderverse guy says tough with Padme, Anakin without Emperor. Retro Nerd Girl says when it comes to the Academy, he doesn't have the maturity to pull it off. Even it gives the responsibility to others. His ego is too much, but she says one more theme here coming up.
Okay.
Vader gets life in Attack of the Clones. True Outlaw.
Yeah,
Here
it's kind of his birth.
I'm killing I'm liking the idea of the Academy happening once his kids are at age. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So actually, sorry, go ahead, Fresto.
Just to play off of that, I agree that at the end of Revenge of the Sith, after he kills the Emperor, right then and there, he is too immature to create this academy.
Yeah.
I think given time to simmer in this new order that he has created with Padme at his side, raising his children, that maturity would hopefully develop into a way that he would be ready to start the academy.
Yeah, and that's actually a wonderful point, because when I read Retro Nerd Girl's first comment about like when it comes to the academy, he doesn't have the maturity to pull it off. My first thought was, well, that makes it interesting. Part of what makes Anakin so great and egotistical in nature is the fact that he is a warrior. Like, he very much, his greatness really becomes known throughout the galaxy, throughout the Clone Wars, because he really is like just a brilliant general who does these techniques and these maneuvers that are just so unorthodox but it works out in his
all the
favor.
war crimes.
Yeah. Right. So I was thinking, without war, if he really created this utopia in a sense by creating this gray Jedi, what happens to his mind? Does he get a bigger ego because in his mind, I made this work. I was completely 100% right. Does that make him worse, or does he almost have an insatiable need to be a warrior, to be a war general?
That's where he has
like in a peacetime?
That's where he has Padme as the sounding board.
So once again, Padme being what he needs.
Padme is his conscience.
Okay. Very interesting, guys. I absolutely love these Delta Squad streams, and I hope you guys do too. Everyone on the panel. And
one more question, real quick, before we wrap things up, Trey.
I have a feeling don't do it.
I'm actually going to surprise you.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but you got me thinking about it again, and now I remember my question. Obviously, what lightsaber does Anakin go with moving forward?
I think personally he keeps the blue one. The only reason he changed, and what I took issue with in that that clip from the game,
the alternate ending,
in that alternate ending, is the only reason he got a new lightsaber is because Obi-Wan took his blue one. And Palpatine doesn't give Anakin his red lightsaber. Palpatine lets Anakin use his lightsabers for a while until Anakin crafts a new one.
Real quick,
that's true. That is part of the whole comics.
Hey, chat, real quick. Put what color you think if Anakin was ruling the galaxy. What color will his lightsaber be? So,
if you want to go with what the colors of lightsabers mean to the content of one's character, then he would have a purple lightsaber.
That was another wonder there. But what about what about you, Orc and Beans?
Oh, I think he sticks with blue, 100%.
Sticks with blue?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw this out there, and we'll get to you, Trey. What about the black kyber crystal?
Is the black kyber crystal
unique to the dark saber
because of the Mandalorian sword?
Yes, it's unique to the dark
saber. I'm pretty sure the black color of the dark sabers is something in the way the dark saber was crafted. Did you know actually the dark saber was never meant to be a lightsaber? That's why it's not shaped like all the other lightsabers, because it was meant to just be a regular sword. Later production in Clone Wars where it was introduced. They decided to make it an energy weapon because George Lucas or whoever was in charge didn't want a regular sword to be able to stand up to a lightsaber.
Oh yeah,
so they just
probably...
edited over the regular blade with the lightsaber effect. That's why it's not the traditional lightsaber shape,
interesting,
but more sword shape.
So not, kind of a happy accident, or at least a happy change. Because I do dig the black saber. It's pretty dope, especially when all the lore behind it.
That's the term. Atlantis said it. Vibra sword. That's the term of what it was originally planned to be.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
What? Let me ask you this: what's the significance behind like the gold or that yellow one?
The yellow one. So yellow was traditionally used. I don't know the exact lore behind it, but yellow was traditionally used by the temple guard. So the guards of the Jedi temple with their long staffs that had a lightsaber blade at the end of them were traditionally yellow in coloring.
Okay.
And I think the idea is I don't know why they gave Rey a yellow one at the end.
We don't even talk about her.
But
Rey Skywalker.
Traditionally, that's what those were who used yellow, was Temple Guard.
So what about orange then, being like more of a strength, meaning power lightsaber? And we haven't got your opinion yet, Trey. What are you thinking?
In terms of his color?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Anakin would just keep his blue one. But
I think he would have a blue one simply because he already has a blue one.
Yeah, he already made it. I don't know if he'd change it. You know?
Let's go to the chat. Oracle's Clock Tower said blue, and I love what Red-Headed Outlaw here. It says here, green for Qui-Gon, which is interesting because Qui-Gon wasn't full on with the Jedi ways either. So I think that's an interesting choice. Purple is cool, but maybe he does white. I thought this was interesting. He would use both the red and the blue lightsaber.
That's cool. He becomes a duelist.
Yeah, blue. It's a vibro sword.
So that's in reference to the dark saber.
Okay, Knights of the Old Republic.
The vibro sword was a weapon in the Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
that like sort of vibrated and gave it the ability to clash with lightsabers. And that's what it was originally planned to be in Clone Wars when they introduced it in one of the things. But then one of the showrunners or George Lucas or someone involved in post-production, someone involved in the show, decided it needed to be a lightsaber because they didn't like the idea that a regular sword, vibro sword or not, could clash with a lightsaber.
Interesting. So I pulled up what does an orange kyber crystal mean, and it's interesting. It says an orange lightsaber indicates that a delicate balance has been struck between the light and dark side of the Force. A Jedi in possession of one has not completely turned their back on either belief system, but rather exists somewhere in the middle.
So I guess that would be like how Jedi. Blue and green are like the primary colors of the Jedi, and red is the primary color of the Sith. I guess orange would be like the primary color of this new academy.
Yeah, it essentially is what that could be. Yeah. Orkin Beans, were you about to say something?
No, I just think that's super cool.
Yeah. I mean, all really, really great takes, guys. I think it's just kind of crazy that we could always do like 2 hours of these debates and discussions. You know?
Oh, one more thought, Trey. Did Obi-Wan turn his back on Anakin?
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick reminder as we are wrapping up our show tonight. First off, we thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. But as always, don't forget to set your reminders for our watch party tomorrow of the Patterson cut. I have the link to that video in the description on that video so you can find it. But it's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have pretty much everyone on the panel, and you're going to see some special guests like possibly Skywalker and Zod Rider, who was pushing us to do this show. So we'll have just a great time. Get your popcorn ready, some soda, and let's just see if this is truly better than what Disney Plus did with the episodic approach of Obi-Wan Kenobi as a show. So I'm excited for that. But also, don't forget, Tuesday next week, July 19th, we are celebrating year 2 anniversary of the Bat Channel. Can't believe, like, seriously, when I think it was the Snyder Queen told us that, yeah, it's July 19th. I was like, oh God, it really doesn't feel that. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us that long. As always, it helps us out so much when you guys smash that like, you share this video, and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can hang out with us on those days. It's going to be a damn good time Tuesday. But what I love doing, more importantly, is because these fine gentlemen of all Delta Squad have hung out with us today. I always like to roll out the red carpet and find out what's going on. What do you got going on for these future shows that you're planning on doing? Let's start with FRESTO. Let us know what do you got planned for your channel upcoming, and then we'll do Orc and Beans.
For my channel upcoming, I have some ideas. I think I'm going to be starting just mostly Pokemon content coming up for me. Personally, nice. Maybe with some Yu-Gi-Oh sprinkled in here and there, other things. But I have ideas, and I just need to. I have a good idea on how to execute them, and now I just need to find people to do it with. So
he got some big stuff playing. He's just keeping it under wraps because he wants to blow people's mind when it comes out. All right, I see how you are. That's cool, FRESTO, being secretive. Okay. And now my man Orc and Beans 14. Let us know. I know you said you're gonna ramp it up here. So tell us what does that mean by ramping up? What's all the stuff?
Coming in hot.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start an actual streaming schedule so that people know, hey, it's Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. I know where I should be. And that's at the Orc and Beans channel. So Wednesdays will be at 4 p.m. Probably do like 4 to 8. Saturdays, I'm going to do probably like an hour or two after whenever Delta Squad streams end. And then Sundays will be like Sunday at 8 a.m. and do a stream on them too. So I'm really excited. Then if you don't see those, you can obviously go to my Twitch channel and see I have it set for the last 2 weeks of broadcast you can watch. But I also usually always post them to my YouTube channel as well. You can also follow me on Twitter, TikTok, which I'm going to start trying to put more TikTok videos out there too. All this stuff, and it's all Orc and Beans 14 because it's good branding.
He was definitely more ahead of it than I was. I was like trying to get it on I think Facebook, and someone already had it. I was like, damn you. I guess we're doing Holy Bat Channel. Super Bro Corey, what do we have going on other than tell us about life with you?
It's rodeo week here in Wyoming. Yeah, things are going good. I've been wanting to jump on with Orc and Beans 14 again here soon for some more Star Wars Battlefront. Give it another run there. Zero Atlantis, I've been wanting to play some Halo with as well. So we got to reach out to you as well, my friend. But yeah, Orc and Beans, hit me up when you want to do some more Star Wars stuff.
I was going to say, I think I saw you the other day playing some Red Dead 2.
I was playing some Red Dead 2.
We should do some cowboy streams.
Is it time to form a posse?
We should. I know there's a lot of stuff going on with Red Dead Online not being as great as it should be, but I think there should be some cowboy streams.
What are you playing next?
Maybe we might be some cowboy streams with you. We'll definitely have to.
If you guys do that, I have one request.
Yes.
You have to wear cowboy hats and talk in a country accent.
That's fine.
Like Yellowstone, like, God damn it, Jimmy.
I'll have my buddy from Texas send me up a hat. So it'll be a real Texas.
I have a few already. So
and you gotta be drinking some whiskey, as you'd go for it. Oh man, you guys are freaking awesome. Guys, please, if you haven't already, subscribed to FRESTO's YouTube channel or Orc and Beans 14, and hell, even subscribe to the Savage Bat, even though he's not here with us. Please do. Like I always say, I only bring on cool people on my channel, because people who just have great takes, people who are just fun to hang out with. I love what they're both doing on their channels, and I'm especially looking forward to as FRESTO gets back into it again, and Orc and Bean starts ramping it up like crazy. Like this is where it's at. FRESTO, join them on YouTube. Orc and Beans, hang out with them on Twitch because they are fire. Super Bat Mom about to take her to Jurassic World Dominion today for the third time to go see it. But guys, what's up?
You are?
Yeah, I'm taking them to go see Jurassic World Dominion today. Yes, I know you want to talk about Top Gun, Corey. It'll happen later.
There's so much to talk about.
There's so much to talk about, but we'll talk about it next week.
We're going to talk about Top Gun next week?
Yes, because we'll talk about the recent rumors going around.
Can Bat Dan come on?
Of course. Wait, Bat Dan? Oh, yeah, that's right, because he saw, I was like, wait, Bat Dan? Like, what are you talking about?
I specifically haven't asked Bat Dan in Twitter what he thought of Top Gun Maverick after seeing Top Gun 1.
Fair enough.
Because I want to hear.
We'll definitely. Guys, subscribe to all the people that were hanging out to us in the chat. Retro Nerd Girl, Socks, I saw, El Necron. I think even Zero Atlantis was here. Make sure you guys subscribe to their channels. Subscribe to Rhea. All those really cool people. Let's help build this community up. We're so close to 1,500 subs, so it will help us out. Bat Dan's thoughts, hit him up because he's going to be doing his first show soon. Just such a great community, and we appreciate you guys hanging out with us for Delta Squad. Don't forget about tomorrow with the Patterson cut of Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's going to be a damn good time. And as always, smash that like, share this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. I am your host, Trey, with
Orc and Beans 14.
FRESTO.
Super Bro Corey.
And don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bat time.
Same bat channel. See you later, guys. Have a great
talk, everybody. Have a good one.